Yeah, when you met, and then how you all got to where you were running to Kentucky to get married. So.
Okay. Well, Ethel was with Brian. Ethel was with Bob first.
Okay, was she your friend?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And we were at a place where you could dance, and I was dancing with Brutus Cook.
Oh.
And Bob told me, he said, if you was my girl, you would be sitting down instead of dancing with everybody. And I said, I'm not your girl. So anyhow then, the night ended, and it was, quite maybe a week later, and Ethel's boyfriend was Art Webb, and he really, really cared for her.
Yeah.
Well, he got Bob and pretended like then he was bringing a blind date, and it was Bob.
Oh.
So,
Did he know that he was coming to see you?
no,
Grandpa didn't know?
no, I didn't know
But did Grandpa know he was coming to see you?
who Art Webb.
But did Grandpa know that Art was bringing him to see you?
Yeah, yeah, and Art fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyhow, then he came to Miss Mace's, and when I seen him, I thought, oh no.
It's him again.
And so he said, he said, it's me. And he said, I would like to take you to a movie. And I said, oh, yes, I see it. And then Ashley, Miss Mays, she always thought of me as a daughter. And she said, you mean you're going to a movie with that little chubby? And
Was he chubby?
He was kind of healthy looking. And he was in service.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to a movie. And I guess I went with him off and on then about 4 or 5 months. So then we went to Leo's. Well, Art started singing to Ethel.
Was he a good singer?
No, not really, but he said, let's just go and get married. And Ethel said, Millie, I'll marry Art if you'll marry Bob. And I said, oh, I'm not ready to settle down yet.
Right.
So Bob said, if you'll marry me, he said, I do love you. And I said, in such a short time? You don't hardly know me. He said, oh, I'll marry you. He said, I would marry you any day. So we had Pop's car. So we took off over in Covington.
That night?
Yeah. And Art stood up. Art and Ethel stood for me and Bob, and we stood up for them. It was a double marriage. Well, then we got us a motel and stayed all night. And we come back that morning, and Pop was at Leo's.
What's
Bob's
Leo's?
dad.
Oh.
A restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And Ashley, he told us, he said, where in the world have y'all been? He said, get sure you know what A-double-S out of the car and right now. And here was Art. Don't say a word, Bob. Don't say a word to Pop. We are at fault.
Oh.
So, anyhow, then Bob brought me back. Then him and Ray Wilkerson brought me back to Miss Mays's. And then he went back down to the barber shop, to Pop's. And he was going around and around the stove, and Pop said, "What in the world is wrong with you?" And Bob said, "Pop," he said, "I would like to go after my wife." He said, "Your what?" And Bob told him his wife. He said, "Oh, I want to know which one you married, the skinny one or the crazy one."
Was Ethel crazy?
Yeah, she was kind of silly.
Oh.
And so, anyhow, Pop said, "Oh, get that car and go after her." And Bob then, he come up and picked me up. And we stayed at Arts and Slim's, at Dorothy's and Slim's. And then till he went back to service.
And how long was that?
And that was like a week. He had to go back.
Wow.
And then I come up to Miss Mays's, and then I went north and stayed up there, for a while.
Yeah.
That's the end of the story.
Well, how long was he gone after you all got married before he came back?
Oh, he was way over a year.
Wow.
And then I went to him, and he was stationed in Texas, and I went there.
Yeah. And you all just wrote back and forth? You just wrote letters back and forth?
Okay.
You wrote letters back and forth
back
while
and
he was
forth.
gone?
Yeah.
Where was he stationed?
At Fort Bliss.
The whole time?
Yeah, because he had been overseas
Yeah.
for 3 years.
Wow.
He was in service like in 2 months of being 6 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he was an old, tough sergeant.
I bet he was.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was the end of it.
Okay.
So we was married till death do us part.
Yeah, and how many years was that? Because you were married in 46?
60, we got married in 19 and 46, April the 9th.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was what? 47. 67. If he would have lived.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Now you got it. Now sound hoarse.
No, you sound fine.